Hey, hear ye. For 18 grand, 18 large ones, sir, can get an Alpha Male Boot Card Camp certification. So you will now be officially known as an Alpha Male. Yo, this shit wild, man. So I'm on the interwebs and I'm checking out the tweets in the timeline. And for like the last like week and a half, I've been seeing some shit about like guys getting yelled at, like you're a pussy, you're not gonna be alpha male, you're not gonna be a great father. Look at you, you fucking suck. And I'm like, what the fuck going on? So I'm seeing this shit. I'm like, okay, hold up a second. Like I see people getting yelled at. Why are they being yelled at? Is this like an army camp or something? So anyway, the details come out, and apparently a group of dudes decided to say, you know what, hey, fuck it. We're going big. If you're gonna go big, you might as well go all the way. They charge niggas 18 large ones to basically get yelled at so they can earn an alpha male certification in a boot camp. And I'm watching this shit. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like I'm proud. I'm so proud of these men. These men decide to step up and be a fucking positive influence and get paid for it because nigga, I wish I came up with the idea of giving somebody for somebody to pay me 18 large ones to basically just yell at them and tell them they're pussies and they don't know how to do shit. And this is a larger epidemic than just like this boot camp because there is a bunch of dudes out there that don't feel like men. They're making a shitload of cash, and you gotta come and get some profit off these motherfuckers. Because I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers is just getting yelled at like you're a pussy. And I'm like, dude, you paid somebody for this? I had to go like play football. I did a bunch of hard shit in my life where people basically did that to me and I wasn't paying for it. Like I was fighting to go get to the next level so I can be able to afford to be able to pay for this camp. And so I find it quite amazing that men, like the fighting men, the men of today's age, there are such fucking vaginas that they decide, you know what, this investment of $18,000 is worth me to put in so I can feel like a man, so I can go back home and show my wife I got an alpha male certification card. And I think it's great. I think it's great for all parties involved because it's a step in the right direction for the pussy ass generation of dudes that we have dealing with today. Because what you begin to understand as a man is that man is judged by the trials and tribulations and the challenges he's able to overcome. And for most men, they don't have any trials and tribulations to overcome because the world is so soft and they refuse to go put on some fucking gloves and go fight a nigga in the ring. Like realistically, I could have saved all these guys 18 grand. It would have cost you probably maybe like a rack. All you do is go get certified and registered in whatever athletic state commission that's inside your territory. Sign up for a fight date. Put on some shorts, get some gloves, a mouthpiece, and everything that you would have learned in that 18 weeks of boot camp, you would have figured out in less than 9 minutes in a fucking 3-round, 3-set fight in MMA. That would have cured all this bullshit that you just paid. Because here's the thing. It's embarrassing. These guys, I'm surprised they even put their face on it. Like I would be publicly embarrassed if my face was in like this group or camp. And the funny thing about it, they said, look, well, like I was laughing at one of them. They said, out of the 12 guys that did it, only 7 of you guys have earned your alpha male card. And these niggas was like, yay, we did it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, pray for men. No wonder niggas is cooked. Because we have to depend on other men to make us into men. And not in a way where like you can actually grow and teach yourself how to be a man. It's like they have to go and pretty much pay somebody to basically go through army boot camp. And it's like, bro, you could just went to the army. And what's funny is when you start looking at the comments and the tweets and everything else in the background, what's funny is like there's a bunch of people in the army like, dude, you could just win the army and you would have did this for 4 years. They would have gave you some great benefits. You would have got free school and you would have got way more benefits. But you paid 18 grand to basically go be a drill, basically go through like a boot camp. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, what are we doing, men? Like, what kind of men are we producing that they think that 18 grand being put in this is going to make them into a better man? And I really wonder, I truly wonder, like, how many of these guys are married? How many of these guys have wives and families and kids and are leaders of their community? Because if I'm a guy and I know that somebody in my community went to this boot camp shit and they paid 18 grand, I'm gonna be very fucking pissed off. I'm like, dog, you could have given that to like a young nigga that needed some help in college. That would have been a better use of money than you going out to go get yelled at for fucking free. No, paying to get yelled at. You're a pussy. And like, I kind of wonder to some degree. Like, are you allowed to put hands on these guys? Like, are you allowed to punch them? Because at the end of the day, like, how protected are they? Because really, in manhood, largely, like, your ability to kind of develop yourself as a man is because there's a lot of risk of you getting fucked up by some other guy. Like, one of the things I learned in football and from fighting is if I don't prepare and take myself seriously and get to the best that I can possibly be. Now, good thing they're doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but if I don't prepare myself as best as I can be, I'm going to get hurt really bad. And I really wonder how many of these guys in this camp got hurt. Because if there was nobody bleeding, there's nobody getting bruised, there was no teeth getting lost, if there was no like dislocated elbows or broken arms or fingers and people getting manged and hurt. Seriously, like, at what level was like this really real? Are we just doing like a fake simulation of manhood? And I think that's largely what we're dealing with in today's age, is that we got a lot of fake simulations of manhood. Men don't know how to be men anymore because there's no circumstances that provoke them to have to be men. And in the words of my man Whiteback, to some degree, we might need a war. I don't like to say that, but we might need a war. You know why we need a war? Because women need us to go to war to some degree so we can kind of like understand what is a man. Because women don't understand men until they see like violent shit fucking pop off and they're like, what the fuck? Like, oh, and they get like a little bit wet off that. But like, as a dude, we need war because war brings out the best of men. Like, don't get me wrong, it's fucked up. War, I've never been to war. Well, I've been to war like in fighting and like in football. There's simulation of war. So you get to some degree, like it's real consequences out there in the field. Like, I still got injuries. I still got cuts, bruises and shit all over my face. Bad knees and elbows and shit from going to war with people in a simulated fashion. Now, it's not like somebody's going to die. Now, there's a possibility you can die in the ring or on a football field. You can get hurt really bad, dislocated, break your elbow, break your hands or whatever. Like, get, what's the word? Paralyzed. There's a lot of shit that can go bad on these particular fields because it's pretty much full freedom. Like, it's reckless abandonment. People are just fucking colliding, muscles and all those other things, flesh hitting each other. But it's the closest you can get to war unless people are fucking killing each other. And I'm not saying we should go around killing each other, but I understand the necessity that sometimes you got to cull the herd and get rid of some of these men. And I think that's what the necessary component of war is. Like, you got to kind of think of war as almost like a fever amongst a society that gets rid of the weakest men of the society. So like the same way that your body would has toxins and contagions and things that are in you that are not good, war is very similar. War gets rid of all the pussies in the fucking nation. Because most of the time, your warriors actually make it back, like the good guys who are actually like strong killers and fighters and strong strategical thinkers and calm of mind in chaos time. Like, you got 10 of those guys, maybe 2 don't make it back. They die in honorable death. But the grand majority of people that fucking get killed in war are guys that probably would have been killed in war and probably should be killed in war. And so what's interesting is, like, in today's age, we don't have like real war. We have like business, and business is as close to war as we can get. But now we got kind of all these cheat codes because the rich people got so rich in war that they kind of pretty much self-eliminate all the small-time competitors. So now war is, like, the business war is almost like it's jinx. It's not even real anymore. Because once you get really good at business, there's so few people competing that majority of the time you're going to be at the top and you never fall off. It's really hard to fall off in business once you kind of survive like the first 2, 3, 4 years. And if you scale it and do it the correct way where you build slowly, it becomes like a nice power base where it's almost never destroyed. And so what's interesting is when we have these boot camps, because I imagine more of these are going to actually arise. Like, this is just the first one. Then guys are going to start giving their testimonies. I'm a better man because I went to Alpha Male boot camp. And it's like, what the fuck, man? We 13 years old now. We in camp and shit. And to be honest with you, a lot of guys need that. As sad as it sounds, a lot of guys need that camaraderie or being within other groups of dudes because they were freaking helicopter parent. They were too safe, and they get into real life, and now they're scared and worried. They don't know how to look after themselves. They don't know how to be a man, and so they need other guys to teach them. And it's kind of sad to some degree when we got grown men teaching other grown men how to be a man. Like, grown men are supposed to kind of reflect and testimony of your manhood, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be your own man. You're supposed to develop yourself into being a man by taking on hard challenges and becoming a better person over time. But we don't have that because most dudes are pussies and the world's too soft, world too easy, and you can make a lot of money just sitting in front of the camera talking like how I do. Not to say that I'm a pussy, but I'm just saying I understand why we exist in a certain age. You got streamers who are making millions of dollars who sit in front of the TV or sit in front of a camera, play video games all day, and that's how they make millions of dollars. As opposed to back in the days, you had to be a warrior, kill a bunch of people, slay a bunch of things, take a bunch of land and territory, become a leader of men, and that's how you got rich. But we don't exist in that time period anymore because we have a thing called the internet. So you can sit there, talk in front of the camera will give you paid. YouTube and all these other different algorithms spit out. You got a bunch of things that allow you to type and get numbers and so forth and so forth. But besides the point, go get your Alpha Male boot camp certification so you, sir, in the camera who's watching this, can be an Alpha Male. Appreciate you guys for listening.